And welcome to the special bonus Christmas episode of Velvet Owl Watches Movies So You Don't Have to. Or this might be just a regular episode. I don't know. Like, Christmas is falling so close to when my normal episode's going to fall on. So I haven't decided if this or the other one's going to be the bonus episode. It's going to be a coin toss, probably. Uh, this week, we're watching The Santa Suit, which stars Kevin Sorbo, who's probably best known for Hercules: The Legendary Adventures, a show that is best known for spinning off the much more awesome Xena Warrior Princess. I've never understood how Kevin Sorbo even got cast as Hercules. If you remember the show, you know what he looks like. If not, he's cut, like, he's got some definition, but he's not like muscular. He's not like super muscular as you would expect Hercules to be. And definitely the Greeks, viewed him as having like muscles upon muscles. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger getting cast as Hercules, that made sense. That is what the Greeks thought Hercules was. Kevin Sorbo, someone went, yes, that is my Hercules. That just blows my mind. I don't get it. This movie's directed by Robert Vaughn, who is what is he from? The Man from Uncle. I don't know if he's the man or he's the uncle. And I know he's been in something I've watched. I never watched The Man from Uncle, and I'm not even entirely sure Robert Vaughn was in that. What was he at? I think he was in Joe's Apartment, and that's what I would know him from. Yeah, and I don't even know if Robert Vaughn's still alive, but if he is, he'd probably be very sad that I only know him from Joe's Apartment. And I'm not even entirely sure it was him in Joe's Apartment. But, so the description for this is: a corporate bigwig learns valuable lessons when Santa Claus transforms him into his lookalike. Which, I think the plot seems kind of similar to Santa Claus. Just, Kevin Sorbo doesn't kill Santa. But, that's kind of a Tim Allen thing, He probably killed Santa and then, ratted out some of his friends to get out of jail. I don't know, was that the plot of the Santa Claus? I never actually watched the Santa Claus. I just know Tim Allen kills Santa and then becomes Santa Claus himself because he gets the suit. And so, actually, I don't know if Kevin Sorbo's gonna become Santa himself, which I hope he does, because I hope he then puts on like a fat suit or something. Because again, he's not scrawny. He does have definition, I think. I've never seen him without his shirt, so I don't know how well he is, but his arms are decent. So, but still, he doesn't have the size, he doesn't have the bulk to be Santa. So, on with the show, I guess. So Kevin Sorbo is the head of a toy company that he inherited from his father, and as you might guess, his father was a good-natured man that cared about people, and Kevin Sorbo's an evil tycoon who cares about money. And he's just pivoted towards making cheap toys and getting rid of their star Princess Doll line because, they're just too expensive and people aren't buying it. And, I can kind of see his point. Times are tough. And especially nowadays, this is 10 years ago, but, it's only gotten worse. And it's hard for people to afford, the good toys. So they do turn to, all the cheap, shitty toys made in China. And that's just the way of business, baby. Because the secretary, she's not happy about it, because she worked back with his dad, and she wants them to stick to being like his dad, that just cared about people and did the right thing. Kevin Sorbo, I bet he learns to do the right thing by the end. And she gives him a snow globe, and he's like, this is stupid. All the people inside the snow globe are smiling. And you know what? I agree with him that if you lived inside a snow globe, you wouldn't be smiling. Because you never know when the entire world is just going to shake like an earthquake and then it starts snowing again. You know, living inside a snow globe is terror. By the way, the toy company is called Hunter's Toys because, I don't know, it'll be easier for me to say that than to keep saying the toy company and explaining that it's Kevin Sorbo's toy company. So Hunter's Toys. And they're in like this one room in the office building where there's all these prospective, pretty sure it's prospective, department store Santas that are being trained. And kudos to the hiring guy there's a very diverse group of Santas. Half of them look like bikers. One of them has an eye patch. There's a black Santa. So fantastic. Just representation, man. Santa needs representation. And so they're going over about how to maximize maximize how to use being a Santa to maximize profits. And if you can steer the kids towards wanting Hunter's toys, and each Hunter toy that your department store sells, you get a commission. 5% commission. Which, I mean, that will fucking add up if you can get a lot of kids to buy Hunter's toys. So I think that's a good deal. However, one guy who's already dressed for the part, he's already got his Santa costume on. His name is Chris Crandall. Yeah, that's not obvious at all. He doesn't like that, the whole Santa imagery is being used as a crass marketing tool. And he tells Kevin Sorbo so much. And Kevin Sorbo's like, yeah, whatever. Miracle on 34th Street, great marketing tool. Which, come on, let's be honest. Santa is a fucking great marketing tool. It has been for hundreds of years. Why change things now? You could try Krampus. I don't think he's going to sell us many toys. But Santa Claus says he's got one Christmas wish for Kevin Sorbo to relearn the true meaning of Christmas. And he puts a finger to his nose because that's like Santa's magic power. And Kevin Sorbo's hair blows like the wind. So the wish has been cast. And Kevin Sorbo, he's going to learn about Christmas. I think Kevin Sorbo's like a big Christian guy, right? At least very conservative, because he's done all those like God's Not Dead movies. And it's just got me thinking, maybe he should go ask Kirk Cameron about the true spirit of Christmas. And I so wish that I didn't see Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas before I started this podcast. And I don't know, maybe next year I'll do it anyhow. But because I try to do movies I haven't seen before so that I could be just completely blown away by whatever stupidity comes my way. But Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas is enough stupidity that maybe it warrants watching a second view and I can be blown away again. Because Kirk Cameron's... No lie, Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas, his true meaning of Christmas is fucking commercialism. He thinks we should buy more shit for Christmas. It is brilliant. And so maybe Kirk Cameron is the wrong guy for Kevin Sorbo to ask what the true meaning of Christmas is. Maybe Santa should visit Kirk Cameron. Kevin Sorbo heads over to his office because he's got to pick up some stuff. But his secretary's like, well, you can't go in there. And Kevin Sorbo's like, oh, no, I just got to pick up some stuff and then, I'll go up and see, like, the Santas at the classroom. Like, no, you got to go to the classroom, but you can't come in here. It's private property. And he's like, what? What's going on? And, well, it seems that to everyone else, when they look upon Kevin Sorbo, they don't see Kevin Sorbo. They see Santa Claus. And, of course, they can't believe it's the real Santa Claus, so they just think it's one of the department store Santa Clauses that, need to train and get ready for being a department store Santa. And, Kevin Sorbo doesn't realize this, so he's trying to fight his way into the office. And they call security who kick him out like, dude, you're not even the real Santa. Like, no, you don't understand, I'm the boss. Well, they don't tell him you're the real Santa Because that probably would have given things away right away. But he's like, I'm the boss. Like, yeah. And Rudolph is waiting for you outside, so come along, sir. I looked up Robert Vaughn's like filmography, and oh yeah, he is dead. And yes, he was in Joe's Apartment, which is what I most recognize him from. Because the only other movie, TV show that he's done that I saw was Basketball, and I kind of don't really remember that. But interesting, he is from Man from Uncle, and the character he plays is Napoleon Solo. So I guess that's where At the Drive-In must have gotten the title of that song from. I just thought, because At the Drive-In tends to just throw random words together and call them lyrics, that I just assumed Napoleon Solo was just two words that they threw together. So that's interesting to know. Maybe I should go back and read the lyrics to that and see if it has anything to do with spy stuff. But, you know, yeah, when I watch these movies, I tend to like then start drifting off and doing other things because they're stupid. So Kevin Sorbo's being put in the police car and he sees his reflection in the window and it's like, whoa, why does it look like Santa Claus? He goes and gets booked and they take like this mugshot. Looks like Santa Claus. And Kevin Sorbo doesn't seem like as like weirded out about this as he should be. Like he should be like, what the fuck? Am I like tripping balls here? But he's got to spend the night in jail. And, you know, they ran his fingerprints and they did not come back at all. So they don't really know who he is. But they tell him like, oh, when you see the judge in the morning, just, you know, tell her whatever she wants to hear so she'll let you out because we don't want you here, fucker. So Kevin Sorbo's up before the judge and, you know, he just starts telling her like all the bullshit of, oh, you know, I didn't mean no harm and I was just confused and I'm sorry and I'm Mr. Crandall because, you know, he can't give his real name because everyone will think he's crazy because remember, everyone thinks he's Santa or just some crazy old guy dressed as Santa. And the judge, she's just very lenient. She's like, you know what? It's the holidays. I don't want you to spend the time in jail. So if you go see a social worker, you know, I'll let it slide. But if I find you again, I'm throwing the book at you. Which is like, okay, good deal. Yeah, I'll just go see a social worker. Oh, by the way, you also can't go anywhere near Kevin Sorbo or his office or his house or his family. Because again, Judge doesn't know this is Kevin Sorbo. Just some crazy Santa who was trying to get into Kevin Sorbo's office. So now Kevin Sorbo, he's going to have to spend the holidays with his social worker, but not with his family. Spend it apart from his family. So that this is how he will learn the true meaning of Christmas. Because he will have to be like the rest of us workers who are forced to work on Christmas and do not get to spend it with our loved ones. So fuck you, Kevin Sorbo. About time you understand what it's like. So Kevin Sorbo goes over to see the social worker. And she's all chipper because she just loves Christmas. And oh my God, it's Santa who just walked in. Like, oh my God, she's like so super excited, except he's not very jolly. He's a very surly Santa. And he's still kind of confused on the whole, like, Santa thing. And, you know, she's, like, telling him, like, look in the mirror. You look just like Santa. Like, oh. And he has no money because the real Santa stole his wallet. Part of the transformation thing, I guess. Well, yeah, he would have to because otherwise... Actually, it's lucky for him that his wallet was taken. Because if he had the wallet, he's, like, showing... Like, look, I'm Kevin Sorbo. They'd be like, dude, you fucking stole that dude's wallet. We're throwing your ass in jail. So, smart planning on Santa's part. But Kevin Sorbo has no money, and he has no place to stay because, you know, he can't go to his home. The judge has forbidden that. So, social worker sets him up with the shelter, which doesn't seem very busy, like, at all. There's no one else there, like... You'd think for a shelter, like, around the holiday seasons, they'd be, like, a little more packed. Maybe it's just because during the day and the people only come in to sleep at night. But, you know, there's a lot of homeless people. Maybe there's no homeless people in this city. And that's why she's so excited. Like, finally, I can take care of someone. So, I don't know, but he decides, well, I look like Santa, so at least let me go get a job as a department store Santa. And he finds this one store where the guy is upset because they were supposed to, the Hunter Toys was supposed to send him a Santa, but they never did. Like, Rrr. And Kevin Sorbo's like, how much does this pay? Minimum wage. And he's like, what? No, seriously, Kevin Sorbo, are you like that fucking out of the loop? You would think a mall department Santa job would pay more than minimum wage? Oh my God, that's so cute. And also, probably exactly why rich people have no fucking clue what it is like for poor people. They think like, oh, you're a department store Santa, you should be making like $20 an hour. Why are you having so much trouble buying Christmas presents for your family? Yeah, fuck you, Kevin Sorbo. You work a minimum wage job. Which he probably never did because his father, like, started the toy company and gave it to him. So Kevin Sorbo has been living on Easy Street his whole life. Now, Kevin Sorbo gives in a call to the office to speak to the secretary to see, oh, hey, is that big, sexy Kevin Sorbo around? And she's like, oh, no, we got a note saying that he's going to be out of town for quite some time. Wait, did I say out of time or did I say out of town? He's out of town for quite some time. Santa, he made sure to cover that loose end as well. And Kevin Sorbo was like, you know, wouldn't anyone realize, like, hey, he just left without really letting anyone know. That's not unlike a big CEO. And he's telling the social worker just like, shouldn't like people be wondering? And social worker's like, well, I mean, if people were scared, they might just be too scared to do anything about it because, you know, maybe he just decided to do it on a whim. And what are you going to do? Call the police and the police bother him and that's just going to be a big mess? Which is true. And unfortunately, it turns out, you know, Kevin Sorbo has basically no family or even a girlfriend or boyfriend. I guess we weren't progressive enough 10 years ago to, you know, for the social worker to suggest like girlfriend or boyfriend or just, you know, leave it at generic partner. No, she just kind of, girlfriend. So Kevin Sorbo's like, okay. And he goes to his job, and he's backstage. And I'm not kidding. There is fucking like a mirror with those vanity mirrors with all the lights around it. There's two of them to get ready, I guess, for as Santa. Which apparently, you know, he's always in the Santa clothes, at least as people see him. But then in comes like this guy of indeterminate ethnicity and indeterminate sexuality. I mean, he seems very gay, but I don't want to like say gay. He might just be a metrosexual. And there's nothing wrong with that. But he is very upset because he did not get the part of Santa. Because, you know, he's kind of small, kind of scrawny, and kind of ethnic. So of course he's not going to get the role of Santa. And he gets really pissed off when he finds out that Kevin Sorbo doesn't even have an acting degree. Dude, you are taking this mall department Santa job like way too seriously. Like, oh, I just got an elf. I'm theatrically trained. Dude, department store Santa. It's not going to be your big break. So it's time to go meet the kids, and Kevin Sorbo's all overwhelmed, like, oh no, I hate kids. And he calls for help from his little buddy who's playing the elf, and he comes out and scares the kids off because he's wearing blackface. Oh, because he decided he's going to be a dark elf. Because, like I said, this guy is taking this gig way too seriously. It is not leading to anything for you, dude. It is not going to be your big break. You know, audition for a real play or something. You know, do some summer stock. I don't know what summer stock is. I just always hear it mentioned in like movies and stuff. So all the kids run away except for one little girl who sits on Kevin Sorbo's lap, but she won't speak. Don't speak. Or should I don't know the I don't remember the words to that. When really I should go with Danzig anyhow. Can't speak. Can't say, can't do anything I want. Keep thinking about suicide. That's how it's done. That's how it's done, fellas. That's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. So the department store manager is all pissed, like, you just ran off all the fucking kids. How are they going to buy toys if they're not in the store? Good point. Department store manager has every right to be angry, and he wants to fire the elf. But Kevin Sorbo, because the Christmas spirit is starting to build up in him, saves the elf's job, says he'll vouch for him, he'll make sure that the elf stays good. You've got my word on it, Mr. Department Store Manager. So department store manager's like, okay, but you guys better start doing better. And so the next day, they do better. Things go smoother. All the kids are there on his lap. One of them poops on Kevin Sorbo's lap. And honestly, don't we all wish we could poop on Kevin Sorbo's lap? I know I do. That would just be fantastic. But, things go well. But at closing time, it's that little girl again. And she still won't speak. Because she can't speak, can't do anything she wants. Cause I keep thinking about suicide. That's all I know from that song. It's actually a pretty damn good song, in my opinion. Very non-Danzig as well. Can't speak. Check it out. Back at the department store Santa section, Kevin Sorbo is, again, trying to push kids to buy Hunter's toys because, he's a shill for his company. That's what they're supposed to do, these department store Santas, is try to get kids to buy the Hunter's toys. But kids, they're not dumb. They know Hunter's toys are crap. In fact, as the elf tells them, because the elf is an avid collector, no surprise, really. Hunter's toys are all crap, except for the princess doll. Yes, the doll that Kevin Sorbo is discontinuing. Sucks, my man. It sucks. And then the creepy little girl comes again. I think she's supposed to be, sad. But she just comes off looking creepy, fucking Children of the Damned or something. She's got that stare in her eyes. She's thinking something. She's plotting. She's gonna blow up Kevin Sorbo with her mind. Oh, please let that happen. This will be the fucking greatest movie ever if that happens. But she sits on Kevin Sorbo's lap, but still won't talk to him. And, it doesn't, still occur to anyone that maybe she... Okay, I'm not going to do the song again. Can't speak, can't talk, can't do anything I want. you had to know that I was going to fake you out and do the song anyhow. But, slowly by slowly, Kevin Sorbo's icy heart is beginning to thaw, and he's worried about her. There's something wrong. So he goes to the social worker and tells her, the social worker that's in charge of him, and tells her about the girl and says, I think there's something wrong. She's there all day. Where's the parents? And the social worker's like, she's probably just a latchkey kid. Don't worry about it. Come on, I'm kind of now disturbed by this social worker. Shouldn't the social worker at least, do a little follow-up? We'll check it out just in case that this little girl that won't speak and is by herself all day doesn't have, dead parents. What? I'm distracted. So, but, The social worker thinks this is just part of how Kevin Sorbo is just a really nice guy. So apparently she did a follow up, and the department store manager says that Kevin Sorbo is the greatest department store Santa they've ever had, which I think says less about Kevin Sorbo and more about the previous Santas. Like, because Kevin Sorbo is kind of like bare minimum, just bare crossing the low bar here. So it must have been a super fucking low bar that he has to pass. And so he goes back, and it's Christmas Eve, and the elf sends off the kids because they're closed now or something because it's Christmas Eve. I'm not entirely sure but why, but creepy girl is there again. And she goes up to Kevin Sorbo, and he says, "Let me tell you something." And then commercial. Goddamn commercials for how the Democrats are evil. Because I'm recording this during election season, just so you have an idea of how long ago this was done. And, it's those commercials about, like, the evil, radical Democrats trying to destroy the world with their socialism. And I honestly wish that we had Democrats that were as radical and leftist as these Republican ads try to tell us. Like, they're giving a selling point. Like, my opponent believes in defunding the police and increased social care. Like, oh, yeah, then I'm voting for them. Like, I was going to skip voting for them because I thought they were a fraud piece of shit. But you're telling me that they're really, like, far left? Okay, I'm voting for them. And, that's the amount of political commentary I will give because, you really came in to hear me bash Kevin Sorbo and saying, can't speak, can't talk, can't do anything I want. Yes, I keep thinking of a suicide. And I realize my Danzig impersonation is probably more coming off like Eddie Vedder. So Kevin Sorbo tells her, "You can tell me anything. You can trust Santa," which causes her to run out of the store. And good for you, girl, because you should never, ever trust an old white guy that tells you, "You can trust me." You run the fuck out of there, because "you can trust me," then, just spirals outward. It's a slippery slope, and before you know it, touch my penis. It's okay. You can trust Santa. It's just a candy cane, little girl. And don't think me sick. Fucking Kevin Sorbo. I shouldn't accuse Kevin Sorbo of this, but there are department store Santas that'll tell you, "Trust me. Touch my candy cane." And, so, even if her parents are dead, she's been taught well to run away from Santas that tell you can trust them. And Kevin Sorbo follows her. And I'm guessing it must be cold because there's snow on the ground. It's not snowing, but there's snow on the ground. And Kevin Sorbo hasn't gotten, like, a coat at all. I mean, has he not gotten paid yet from his department store Santa gig? That he's still wearing the same, like, Armani suit, which he made sure to let us know it was Armani suit. And of course no one believes him because they just see him wearing a dirty old Santa Claus outfit. So, like, really, they couldn't even, like, the department store couldn't even give him, like, an extra coat or something. But he's just going after her out in the cold, and he sees her run into a house. And then there's a flashback. So I don't know if this was Kevin Sorbo's house growing up, but there's a little kid that I'm going to assume is Kevin Sorbo's little kid. And his dad's telling him that, Santa might be a little late with your bicycle this year because Santa gets really busy. It's heartbreaking. As a parent, I know. I've been there. Like, you have to kind of explain to your kids, Santa is a bit of a budget this year. might not get everything you want. And I know they say the new thing is, don't tell your kids that all the presents are from Santa. You only tell them, like, the little cheap ones. Because then they'll see, like, their friends have gotten, like, all these expensive gifts and wonder, does Santa not care about me? Am I not good enough? Or was I not good enough? But I say, fuck that. You teach your kid that all those toys are from Santa. And the reason that your rich friends got so much more toys is because Santa is a capitalist pig. And like every politician, I know I said I wasn't going to do political commentary, but this is very generic political commentary. They just are all about who can scratch their back, who donates the most. So, yeah, rich people get better presents from Santa because they've been contributing to Santa's political slush fund. So, yeah, tell your kids, Santa gets all the toys, but it's not because that they're unlovable or that they've done wrong. It's just that the system is fucked, and when they grow up, they need to fight the system. And then it'll be truly a Merry Christmas for everyone. So Kevin Sorbo goes to the social worker again, and I was right. It was his house when he grew up, and he's telling a story about how his dad got him a bike for Christmas, and about how after he got the bike, he realized that the sterling silver frame that used to house his parents' wedding photo was no longer there, and he put two and two together. He got 22. His dad had sold the frame to buy the bike. Which, you know what, Dad? I am glad you made the right decision and got your priorities straight. Because who cares about what the frame is that your wedding photo is in? It's more important that, you had the wedding photo, right? But now I'm questioning, how fucking expensive was this frame that you sold it and had enough money to buy a bike? like, fuck you. Fuck you for having that frame in the first place. God, what the fuck? Just why would you spend that much money on a fucking frame for a photo? I understand it's your wedding photo. That's great and all, but you could probably find a good frame for like $20. Unless this is so long ago that $20 could get you a bike. Just jeez. The social worker tells Kevin that, if he gives her the address, they can check it in. And if they've ever received help, they'll be on record and they can check in on things. But she wants to know why Kevin's so interested. Which, good work, social worker. I now forgive you for not trying to do any sort of follow-up earlier, because, yes, you 100% should check why Kevin Sorbo, who, to you, is a super old man, is interested in a little girl. Yes, you should definitely find out first, and also maybe tell the police, hey, this creepy old guy was following a young girl home. So just maybe keep an eye out on him. So then he goes back to the office to talk to the secretary, and she's ready to call the police. Because remember, one of the conditions of him being released from jail was that he could not go to anywhere where Kevin Sorbo lives or works. Because remember, no one knows he's Kevin Sorbo. They just think he's crazy Santa Claus. And so, the secretary's ready to call the police. Which makes me wonder, this is a big condition. How did he get past security in the first place? How did he get into the building all the way to the secretary's front desk? But he did. And, he apologizes. I just was off my meds. I didn't mean to scare you. And then he tries to tell her, no, it's me. Really, I'm Kevin Sorbo. I know everyone thinks I'm Santa Claus, but just believe me. And of course she doesn't believe him. Then she thinks, oh, Is this a trick? Or is it some sort of loyalty test? But secretary, she's like a few weeks away from retirement, so she's like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell you, I think this company is in the shitter. You guys don't even care about quality anymore. It's all about money. So you can tell them, fuck you. Not in those exact words, but that was the gist of what she was saying. Now, Kevin Sorbo goes over to the playground, which was dedicated to his dad, because his dad donated the money for it, I guess, probably. And all the kids see him. And remember, as I have to keep stressing over and over, I guess I don't have to stress it over and over. You probably should know. But the kids, they look at him, or everyone looks at him and sees Santa Claus. So the kids are like, Santa, Santa, here's what I want. I want bikes and awesome toys and all that. And Kevin Sorbo looks over at the parents who are like shaking their heads, which he takes to mean like, oh no, we can't afford these kind of toys. Don't promise them to him. Or, and hear me out, maybe they're shaking their heads as, you're fucking creepy, dirty old man pretending to be Santa, hanging out in a playground. Could you please leave and not touch our children? At least that's what they should be thinking, but yeah, they're probably thinking like, we can't afford the toys. And so Kevin Sorbo talks about this to the social worker, like, you know, I don't know what to do. I feel so bad because they're probably not going to get the toys. Because, again, his icy capitalist heart is thawing, and he realizes there's more. And so she tells him, you know, we have this toy exchange drive, so you can tell all them all about that. Just let the world, not the whole world, but I guess the neighborhood, because not enough people know about the toy exchange. So he's like, yeah, I will be on that. And she's like, oh, by the way, I looked into that little girl, and she lives with her mother. Father's out of the picture, and they were on assistance, but they don't get any anymore, so she must have gotten a job. Oh, Miss Social Worker, you are so fucking naive, right? Or you happen to live in, like, a super awesome state where public assistance does not run out. Like, she might have hit that point of just, she can't get any more welfare. I don't know. I'm going off of New York State, where, like, cash assistance, you do reach, like, after having a certain amount of months over your lifetime, you just can't get any more. Which is weird. You'd think super liberal state, like, yeah, we're gonna be a welfare state, but it's kind of really not. So, I don't know, maybe this wonderful, you know, place they live in, the assistance just lasts forever and ever and ever. And so if she's not getting it, she must have a job. But hey, let's stop by later and say, like, we're just checking in on her. It's probably going to be a little awkward, especially, like, just Santa Claus shows up. But, I mean, the little girl's going to recognize Santa. But will she be able to say anything to her mom? Like, oh, I know this is Santa. Because the little girl can't speak, can't talk, can't do anything she wants. So right, as I keep thinking about suicide. Will there be any further singings of Danzig in this episode? Stay tuned and check out. Or stay tuned and find out. And I'm calling it right now. I think that this girl is secretly Kevin Sorbo's daughter. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going to go. And Kevin Sorbo's going to be there and like, hey, I recognize you, lady. I banged you. I forgot to wear a condom. Oh, and it just so happens to be 7 years ago that this happened, and your daughter's 7 years old. I don't know how old the daughter is, but that is my guess. That it is Kevin Sorbo's secret daughter. So Kevin Sorbo has his neat little plan of when the kids ask for toys. And how many days are we at? I swear to Elf, like which had to have been like a few days ago, said it was Christmas Eve. Did I mishear that? Or was that... Why am I trusting that elf? He thinks he's going to get an acting job from playing an elf for a department store. So fuck him. But Kevin Sorbo's plan is, tells the kids if they want their toys, hey, why don't you tell your parents to bring some unused toys or the toys they don't play anymore to this toy drive? Smart thinking, Kevin Sorbo. Just kind of like a little flip of have the department store Santas tell the kids to buy Hunter's toys. And so now back at the shelter, because remember, Kevin Sorbo is staying at a shelter. We've completely forgotten about this because they never fucking talk about it. And for some reason, he's sweeping up the shelter. I don't know. Is that also part of the deal that he gets to stay at the shelter as long as he, is the janitor? Or maybe he's like trying to earn a little extra money by being a janitor? What the fuck is that about? And the social worker, she's going over to see the girl and her mother and asks, oh, Kevin Sorbo, you want to swing by with me? Like, okay, it might be a little awkward for, fucking Santa to just show up. Like, how weird is that? And, well, no, it's not Kevin Sorbo's daughter, because actually, well, he doesn't recognize her. I was about to say, like, she doesn't recognize him, but of course she wouldn't recognize him because he's Santa. He's not Kevin Sorbo right now. But I would imagine he would have recognized her. But who knows? Maybe he's fucked so many women he hasn't realized all of the women he fucked. Because he's the CEO of fucking Hunter Toys. Of course he's going to be knee deep in pussy. Yeah. He's face deep in pussy. Oh, yeah. Whatever. He's fucked a lot of women is what I'm saying. But, no, the women, the mom, she has stopped assistance because, A, she's has pride, so she doesn't want to take part in this fucking, like, toy exchange program because she doesn't need the help. And, B, she is now working full-time. Almost. She works 39 hours a week. Which is just bizarre. Like, is it that the company is trying to be like, fuck you, you can't get full-time benefits? Just seems weird to do, like, 39 hours. Like, oh, you can't find, like, an extra hour to give to these people for their shift. And, I mean, like, here in New York State, 35 hours a week qualifies you for full-time status, so you get all the fucking full-time benefits. But maybe in this magical state, you need to work 40 hours a week. And the company is like, we're going to get every single fucking hour we can out of you without having to pay benefits. Fucking assholes. And on top of that, if they don't meet their quota, they get fined. Which, again, bullshit. Unionize! Union forever! Come on, lady. You got to work against this. Like what? You fucking work for Amazon? No, she doesn't work for Amazon. She works for Hunter Toys. I should have seen that one coming. I was too preoccupied on her having a love child with Kevin Sorbo that it didn't occur to me, maybe she works for Kevin Sorbo. And unfortunately, her daughter really wants the princess doll, which I don't know if she told her mom that or wrote it, because, I don't know if she can't speak, can't talk, can't do anything she wants. Yeah, I'm getting that in as many fucking times as I can, because I am an annoying bastard. But, it tugs at Kevin Sorbo's heartstrings, like, she can't get the princess doll because I'm a fucking prick who doesn't offer employee discounts, and I'm discontinuing the fucking doll anyhow. So Kevin Sorbo then goes for a contemplative walk, and he's just thinking about things. And he goes to the toy store, and he looks at all the Hunter toys that are in the return section because, they're pieces of crap. And then he looks at the princess doll, and he's thinking, should I buy it for this little girl that, I don't really know, and that would be kind of creepy, but I guess not that creepy because I'm Santa, But yeah, it would still totally be creepy because, no one knows that you're the fucking CEO of 100 Toys. You're just some fucking random crazy guy. So you buying a doll for a girl you don't know, that is really fucking creepy. I don't give a fuck about the Christmas spirit. I would reject that gift. But it's a moot point because he only has $12. And that's not enough to afford this doll that costs $200 fucking dollars. You gotta tell that girl, like, okay, look, I know you really want this doll, but maybe this knockoff that's only like $20. $200 fucking dollars for a doll that she's probably gonna, stop playing with in like 5 months. Fuck that. You gotta teach kids character. And, they can't be spoiled like, ooh, $200 dolls. Like, no, you teach them, Santa can't get you that. It's way too fucking expensive. Ask for something more practical. Here's some socks. Then the next day, he's doing the Santa and the kid's on the lap and he sees the little girl. So he tells the elf, like, oh, go take the kids away because Santa's got to clean reindeer poop or something. It was something with his reindeer. I didn't quite catch it. I'm not rewinding it to find out what it was. But then he talks to the little girl and he's like, I need you to speak to me. She stares at him and he's like, because she can't speak, can't talk, can't do anything they want. So that's probably going to be the last time I throw that in there because she fucking speaks. And she doesn't believe in Santa Claus anymore because her mom works at the toy factory and she knows she's making the toys for the other kids. And, mom couldn't afford the fucking doll last year. So that tells her right there is no Santa Claus. Good kid. You're on the way to learning life lessons. There's no Santa and fucking capitalist system is keeping your family down. Those are good life lessons. And Kevin Sorbo asks, well, if you don't believe in Santa, why do you keep coming back every day and sitting in my lap? And again, creepy. Yeah, Santa. He's a fucking crazy guy. But no, this is actually creepy on her part because, yeah, why are you sitting on a dirty old man's lap? We gotta nip that in the bud. Because that is just gonna lead to bad choices in the future of wanting to just sit in dirty old man's laps. Now, the social worker agrees with me. She says, like, isn't it better for the little girl to know that life is unfair than for her to think that Santa Claus exists and plays favorites? Damn right. Tell your kids Santa doesn't exist. Or if you are going to keep with the lie that Santa exists, then go fucking out and tell them that Santa does play favorites for the rich kids. Because their parents have donated money to the slush fund and, your parents can't afford that, but that's okay because your parents are instilling into you character. They're instilling into you morals. Now it's the final day. It's Christmas Eve for real. Or maybe it's Christmas Day. I'm not sure. I just know it's the last day of the department store Santa. So really, it could also be like December 22nd. I don't know when this department store decides to stop doing like the mall Santa guy. But this day, the little girl doesn't show up. And Kevin Sorbo's worried. Should I be worried too? Like, is she dead? Because obviously she has a thing for sitting on dirty old man's laps. So maybe she went with some other dirty old man who's like, would you like to sit on my lap, little girl? I've got a candy cane. And then afterwards he tells her, the things we did today, about them, don't speak. Don't talk. Don't do anything you want. Yeah, I brought it back. I brought it back. I bet you didn't think I would bring it back, but I did. So now it's all over, and Kevin Sorbo and the little elf guy go get their paychecks. They didn't get much of a bonus from Hunter Toys because they didn't sell many Hunter Toys because they're crap. But Kevin Sorbo was like, yeah, that's okay. It happens. And the little elf guy says to him, I learned a lot about acting from you. Which has to be the first time Kevin Sorbo has ever heard anyone say that to him. I don't think anyone's learned. Actually, probably a lot of people have learned about acting from Kevin Sorbo. They see what Kevin Sorbo does and go, I'll do the opposite of that. And I will become a great actor. And then Kevin Sorbo goes sees the lady. Why can't I think of I was going to say guidance counselor, but not a guidance counselor, social worker. Which I think social worker is just kind of a couple rungs above guidance counselor in the respect level. They just don't really get the respect they deserve, do they? And, she doesn't know what happened to the little girl or her mom either because they didn't show up for the toy exchange. And then they, talk and kind of flirt awkwardly, and they're under the mistletoe. So, she gives Santa, because remember, to her, it's Santa, not Kevin Sorbo. She gives Santa a little peck on the cheek. And Kevin Sorbo realizes he's falling in love. However, he's not going to be able to hook up with her as dirty old Santa man. So, but he tells her, he has a friend. Kind of lost touch with him right now, but if he ever comes back, I think you should hook up with him. Because the reason she doesn't have a boyfriend, why she's single, despite being pretty hot, is because she's a social worker and she spends all her time in the office. So, guys, they just don't really care about that. Or she just doesn't meet guys, I think was more the thing she was trying to get at. Because, think about the kind of guys that are going into her office. And if she's not going out anywhere else, where is she going to meet guys? Other than dirty old Santa's friend, wink, wink. So, who knows? Maybe if Kevin Sorbo ever turns back into Kevin Sorbo, he's got it in the bag. So Kevin Sorbo takes a walk, and the little girl's words are still ringing in his ears about how she doesn't believe in Santa Claus. And he comes across the store, and there in the display window is the princess doll. And he knows that if he could just get that doll for the little girl, she will believe in Santa again. And so he does what any one of us would do if we needed to get a $200 doll for some girl we just met and don't really know all that well, and we only have $12. Actually, he should have a little more because he just got paid earlier. But probably still not $200. Wait a minute, he must have not gotten paid $200 because why didn't he just waste his entire paycheck and get this doll? But no, what he does instead is he picks up a brick and hurls it at the window and grabs the doll. Because that's exactly what Santa would want from you, Kevin Sorbo. Grand larceny. I don't know if it counts as grand larceny, but $200 for a doll, that is the true grand larceny. It's charging that much for a doll. And I don't know what his plan even was, really. The smash and grab, where do you go from there? Did he think that, the carolers across the street weren't going to see him? Or the security guard who's running at him? And it's not like he's inconspicuous, because everyone sees him as Santa, so everyone's going to be like, yeah, Santa stole it. And they'll be like, oh yeah, we know who it's going to be, because it's that crazy guy who thinks he's Santa that we have no further information for. And so the security guard is chasing him, and he gets locked behind a fence, and because it's Kevin Sorbo is now Santa, I guess he can't climb the fence to get out. And the security guard taunts him like, haha, Santa, in the morning the real police will be here, and you're done for. The security guard's kind of a dick. He seems a little too gleeful to have captured Santa. I guess someone got a lump of coal in their stocking. Now, a real Santa pops up, and he's like, "Oh, what have you got there?" And Kevin Sorbo's like, "No, you don't understand. I mean, I gotta get this doll to a little girl who doesn't believe in Santa. And, technically I didn't steal it because it's from my own company." Which I'm not sure. I don't think that would really hold up. Especially since you smashed your own, storefront window. Does that really count? Can you, because I'm sure, people who embezzle say the same thing. Oh, it's my company, so I took money. I'm not really stealing. But, that proves that, he found his inner Santa. So Santa takes the curse off, okay, now people can see you as yourself again. And the security guard comes back. He's like, whoa, what's going on? I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to capture you. And then he sees the real Santa, but says, but this guy, he broke the window and stole something. And Kevin Sorbo's all like, no, it's all a misunderstanding. Call the police off. It's all good. And Santa's like, well, you're going to need help delivering that toy to the little girl, and I'm quite good at that. And he touches the side of his nose, and zap, they're in the little girl's room. Which, do I have to spell it out? That is fucking creepy. I don't care if you're Santa. You just fucking, appear in a little girl's room? You can't even at least, go down the chimney and leave the doll by the Christmas tree or something? You gotta fucking go in her bedroom while she's sleeping. I knew I didn't trust Santa, and this just confirms it for me. Now, Kevin Sorbo asked real Santa to make him look like Santa again, just for the little girl, because, it'd be very creepy if you wake up and Kevin Sorbo's there. It's slightly less creepy if you wake up and Santa's there. And the little girl, she's shocked. And not screaming. She just takes at face value that it's the real Santa. Even though she doesn't believe in Santa anymore. So shouldn't she be like, what the fuck? Mom, the creepy guy from the department store broke into our house. I know I would. I think even when I believed in Santa, if Santa just suddenly showed up in my bedroom, I would be frightened. Be like, Mom, Santa's trying to touch me in my no-no spot. But she knows that this is the real Santa. Though technically it's not the real Santa, but the real Santa's there. And so Kevin Sorbo gives her the doll, and she's left speechless. In fact, you might even say that she can't speak, can't talk, can't do anything she wants. I keep thinking about suicide. At any point while watching this movie, I could have actually looked up the lyrics to figure out what the rest of those words are, but I think it's funnier to just mumble it. Because I can't sing, don't know the words to anything. Now, Santa sends Kevin Sorbo back to the storefront with the broken window and all that, and his secretary's there. I guess because they probably could get no one else to come down, because, everyone's at Christmas, and I think the only person who's above her in the command chain is Kevin Sorbo, who's currently missing. And she's excited to see him, because he's been gone for so long. He's like, hey, guess what? Christmas bonuses for all! And, she can't believe it at first, but she's excited. And the next day, everyone comes into work, and there's a Christmas bonus check in their locker, including the mom of the little girl. And she's all excited. But I want to know one thing. How did the mom react on Christmas morning when she saw that her daughter had that doll? Wouldn't she be like, where the fuck did you get a $200 doll? Santa came in my room and gave it to me. Like, whoa. Who did what now? Did Santa watch over you? Was there any snow that landed on you afterwards? Did you have to touch any candy canes? Tell me what's going on. Who is the Santa? I am going to fucking press charges because he broke into my house and watched my little girl. That is what I want to know. How did that morning go? And then Kevin Sorbo records a video to play on the news that later goes viral on YouTube about apologizing for all the crappy toys that they've made and saying that if one of your toys break, you can take it back to the store for a full refund. Yay. Isn't that kind of like general, like standard operating protocol that if you get something that's defective, you can return it and get a refund? Well, maybe the difference is you can get a cash refund. Maybe before you could only get store credit. But yeah, generally you can return stuff that's defective and get your money back. That's how retail works. Like, did you have except like Burlington, because fuck them and their no refund policy. So, I don't know, I guess some places do, including this town with Hunter's Toys. Nope, you can't return them. You're stuck with them forever. Mwah, ha, 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 ha. And then Kevin Sorbo goes visits the social worker, and he's brought her a gift, a snow globe, which she loves. And then he starts, and damn it, I had the line, and I totally screwed it up. So let me go back. He brings her a snow globe, which makes her completely wet. And she's like, yes, I will go have dinner with you. And the end. And I'm sure, that night afterwards, he did some sex moves on her. And that just left her just unable to, really say anything. Because she can't speak, can't talk, can't do anything she wants. No lie, no sign. Keep thinking about suicide. And that's the end of, I don't even remember what the fuck the name of this movie is. It was that bad. My mind is already like just working overtime to repress this memory of watching this movie and just completely just blocking everything out. But I'm Velvet Al for Velvet Al Watches Movies, so you don't have to. And trust me, you are going to be thankful that you did not have to watch this one. But you can, I don't know, you can like and subscribe and do all the shit that, everyone else tells you that you should do. But I'm not going to tell you that you have to do it. You can do it if you want. But if you don't feel the need to like or subscribe or comment, don't. But if you do, you can either comment on YouTube if you're watching this through YouTube. Otherwise, you can email me at velvetal.hotmail.com. velvetal@hotmail.com. Because I feel like I screwed up saying it. I just sometimes feel like I can't speak, can't talk, can't do anything I want. Those I drain your mind, keep thinking about suicide.